COVID-19 recovery, helping Hoosiers recover financially, physically, mentally, and socially through services provided by Community Action of Greater Indianapolis. Services include energy assistance, child care, family support, education, training programs, and food assistance. COVID-19 recovery.
Hi, I'm Kelly Vaughn, and welcome to COVID-19 recovery, which will soon be making a transition on the show to a show about wellness. So whether it's physical wellness or financial wellness and beyond, we'll be doing that here on this show. But in the meantime, we're going to still be focusing on issues regarding COVID-19 and the recovery process for all of us. I am joined by Al Bracken. Hey, Al, how are you?
Good afternoon. Good afternoon. Yes, Kelly, we will be transitioning here in the near future into a total wellness concept because of all the different categories that we've been able to engage in during COVID relief. And with our guest today kind of typifies why we're moving to a total wellness concept. So I'll let you take it from there.
Okay, and so we have a very special guest on the show today. He is very well respected in the community and is really a part of the WHMB TV 40 family because he hosts the show, the National Federation of the Blind, NFB Newsline, Indiana. He is the president of the Circle City chapter of the National Federation of the Blind, Indiana. And his name is Lee Martin. Hello, Lee.
Well, hello, Kelly, and how are you both doing today?
We're doing great. Yeah, especially now that we have you on the show. This has not been an easy task, has it, Al, getting him on the show?
It has not, and I've got to be candid now that, after meeting Brother Martin, I see why he's in such high demand. We've been trying to schedule with his people. His people have been getting back with our people for the last month and a half. So, Brother Martin, we're glad to have you on here today. We're looking forward to it.
Well, Brother Al, since we're going the brother route right now, it's my pleasure being on here as well. It's been a lot that's going on there, and it's my pleasure to be here to share today with my experiences.
Okay, and so we're going to do that. We're going to hear about Lee's experiences with COVID-19 and some things that have really hit home and hit hard as far as his family and his life. But before we get into that, I want to share with the audience a piece that WFYI Channel 20 did on Mr. Martin. And there was a special that they had. Lee, tell us a little bit about the piece that was done that you were a part of.
Well, someone has suggested me to WFYI to do a segment during the Helen Keller program on PBS. And they contacted me and they came to my home and we talked a little bit about myself and it just came together so well. I mean, I had no idea that there was that much interest in me, and after seeing the 6-minute piece, I thought it was done relatively well. It showed a segment of my life that is very important to me, part of my life that I have really no control on because the things that I do as exhibited in that piece comes from a source much better and stronger than I. And I do believe that's my Heavenly Father. And I'll just follow the path which has been laid down for me. And that particular video there describes a great portion of my life. There was a time when I had to call my mother. And I told her, I said, I lost my sight. And she immediately says to me, well, son, you've lost your sight, and that's God's plan. I didn't raise you to be a weakling, so what are you going to do about it? My name is Lee Martin. I'm a member of the National Federation of the Blind, And yes, I am blind.
The National Federation of the Blind, Newsline, Indiana. Monthly Report. With your host, Lee Martin, and co-host, Florence Myers-McSwine.
You want to know about Lee Martin? I have been working with Lee with the National Federation of the Blind Newsline Indiana show for a little over 3 years. Lee is a very innovative man.
Florence said that about me.
And he just knows how to make things work.
What's really nice is what we do together. We want to welcome our guest back to the National Federation of the Blind Newsline Indiana show. Ms. Rhonda Chapman, thank you for coming on again and sharing your reality with us. Your road to independence. Independence is what I've been blessed with, and I like to share that independence with others.
I work out at a gym that I kept seeing this blind fellow come into, and with his cane, and he would walk back into the locker room and go about his business of exercise and cleaning up afterwards and go on home. And his independence was amazing to me. And then I saw him back in front of his locker room, and he was shining his shoes, and I thought, this is a guy that I've got to meet. And so I went up to him and said, I introduced myself and said, you're blind. He says, yes, I am. He says, and you're shining your shoes. Why are you shining your shoes? And he says, he looked up at me and he said, well, I want to look good. That's just Lee Martin. His shoes have to look good, even though he can't see them.
Lee wasn't born blind. He lost his sight in his mid-40s due to a condition called phlebitis.
In June of 1999, I was 46 years old, and I lived a fairly productive life up until that point. And while working at Daimler Chrysler, I lost my sight. And then I lost my job. And it wasn't fair, so I took Daimler Chrysler to court.
One of the toughest things about being blind is the ability to get employment. The unemployment rate for people that are blind is over 75%.
The legal case against Daimler Chrysler received national exposure. It opened my eyes, and I got involved with the National Federation of the Blind to help others achieve independence. And one of the ways that I do that is through a program, the NFB Newsline.
Hoosiers can hear Indiana magazines, circulars, national magazines, and information from across the globe. Learn more by calling 855-963-6476 or visit nfbnewsline-in.org.
It gives them an opportunity to have all this information right there at their fingertips.
What would you like to do?
Read the New York Times.
Reading in New York Times dated September 25th, 2020.
A person that's informed, they make informed decisions. And this service helps allow that.
There are so many things that Lee is so passionate about.
Education of our youth, as well as education for our adults.
The right of blind and visually impaired citizens to vote is guaranteed by the United States Constitution.
And when it comes to voting, blind people would love to vote independently, and the technology has to be developed for that. Now, as far as employment with the blind, we're not asking for any more or any less, but just a fair shot. And that fair shot comes with creating the opportunities, the proper training that we need, the proper technologies that we need, so that we can work independently.
This is Studio B at WHMB TV 40, and this is where we normally would produce the National Federation of the Blind Newsline show.
We want to welcome you back with Pastor Melinde.
And of course now, since COVID hit, now we have to do things a little differently.
We want to welcome you to the National Federation of the Blind Newsline Indiana show.
Does Lee Martin let any dust settle on him? No way.
As busy as Lee is, he takes time to have fun. And he knows how to dance. And he knows how to celebrate life in a wonderful way.
The bottom line about Lee Martin is he is a joyful, encouraging, and professional activist.
Well, Brock.
Yeah?
We haven't been around each other since COVID. Normally we meet right there at the gym and have a great time working out.
Yeah, that's true.
I've been missing walking and talking and having a good time in the gym with you, so how about you and I just take a walk?
I think that's a great idea.
All right, let's go.
All right.
There's an old Chinese proverb, be not afraid of moving slowly, but be afraid of standing still. I kind of like that. The true message to the whole video was to let people know that we as blind citizens, we have a lot going on, but the biggest problem is not just being blind, it's the preconceived notions and ideas of blindness throughout our society. And I know with the National Federation of the Blind, one of the reasons I am a true member of that organization is because we really do work to improve the lives of individual citizens, those that are blind and those that are print challenged, those that are deaf blind. And we do a lot of work, the advocacy work that we do in our communities, the advocacy work that we do as far as legislation. You hear me speak on that video about access and information. And those are some of the challenges that we face. There are many other challenges that we face as well, as far as employment, as far as just being accepted. Some of the smaller things that we deal with, people just think we're so amazing because we can put on our clothes and tie up our shoes, and they just think that that's so amazing. But there's so much more to myself and my colleagues and the blind community.
Well, Lee, thanks for that. What we'll do, and we have one more segment with you and a little bit more time, and we're going to use it efficiently. So we'll be right back.
During the COVID-19 emergency, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of families across the country. For over 50 years, we've been delivering life-changing services, solutions, and stability.
Contact your local community action agency serving Boone, Hamilton, Hendricks, and Marion counties for help during the COVID-19 emergency. We can assist with masks, hand sanitizers, food, shelter, transportation, and more. Apply today.
And welcome back. I hope everybody had a chance to see that video and really got out of it what we did and the purpose of that. And the purpose as other than just showing everything that Lee does and who Lee is educating the general population on the visually impaired or blind. Or Lee, as we talked before, what is the best way or the best phraseology do you think that we should be using when it comes to whether somebody is blind or visually impaired, et cetera, et cetera?
Well, that's up for debate sometimes because you have different sight acuities or non-sight acuities. For those that are blind, that totally blind, like myself, I go with blind. The National Federation of the Blind takes all of that into consideration, and we just call it blind. So with the National Federation of the Blind, we just say blind. But there are those that have some vision, and they like to be called visually impaired, but most people, just go with blind. It just depends on where you at in your stage of the blindness, and how you accept yourself. You are who you are. So with me, you just call me blind, because that's what I am. I'm blind. For my friends and colleagues that want to be called visually impaired, then they'll correct you and let you know I'm visually impaired.
Feel free, Lee, to use the statement that you made earlier off camera, if you want to. I'm just joking. Lee has been a fresh breath of air for us, and for me in particular, because there's really no political correctness in Lee. I don't think there is any in any parts of his body, and what we've been talking about are real things and real concepts. And Lee basically said, I asked him this question earlier before we started the broadcast, and he was pretty explicit about his condition, and he's not sensitive about it. But one of the things that we've been able to do with the COVID-19 relief show from that Community Action is sponsoring, is we've been able to really be educated and with a lot of different subgroups and how COVID-19 has affected individual populations. And I won't even say special populations, I will say individual populations. And what this has done is given us an opportunity, and I'll use an overused phrase, it's given us the opportunity to reimagine a lot of what we do. And it's given us the opportunity to look at groups that we normally would not have looked at. Because number one, we've had the time to do it, and we've developed the sensitivity and the desire to make sure we are reaching out to everybody that's been adversely affected by COVID-19 and then continue to be. And one of the things that we're going to do as we move into 2022 is to transition from just talking about COVID, but to be more aware of general wellness that did absolutely spring from the things that we learned about what's necessary and needed as a result that has been exposed by COVID-19. So in saying that, Lee, can you tell us how you have been personally affected? I know you have a journey with COVID-19 personally, and if you could just talk to us a little bit about that and tell us some things that from a precautionary standpoint that we need to know, and any things you want to share with us or share with the audience today.
Certainly, Al. My experience with COVID has been personal, as you indicated. It's been so personal that it is still kind of hard to expound upon or talk about. I ended up losing my sister, COVID. She came down with COVID. On November the 2nd is when she succumbed to it. And then my niece, her daughter, she passed away of COVID also 4 days after we buried her mother. So, and she also passed away. And so that was a very difficult time for myself and my family. There's so many other integral parts that goes with that. Number one, they were not vaccinated and did not feel like they had the need to vaccinate. There is a segment in our community that I've found out is that they just don't even trust the vaccination, even though they haven't even researched it or they don't want to hear it. They just think that it's not real, but it is so real. The two of them, they are sorely missed, and we continue to ask the rest of the family members to get your vaccination, wear your mask, take care of yourself. And that's what we ask our society and our community to do, is to take care of yourselves. COVID for myself, as you've seen there in the video, I mean, very active and just would not stop hardly at anything. I mean, any challenge. I enjoy being out and about. But what I found with COVID, being blind, it makes it even more difficult because when it comes to distancing, I truly believe in the distancing. And I tell you, Al, I have a cane and it's about 5 feet long that I carry. So with the red tip, that's the cane that we carry as blind citizens for identification. And I carry my cane, and if I can reach my cane and my arm out, and I can touch your foot or touch you, then you're too close. So it has caused a lot of myself. I regressed a lot as far as being out in the public, like most of our communities have. I stay isolated a lot more. I stay in home 100% times more than I normally would. And it has had its impact on myself, on my chapter members, as a community. I know that a lot of my community still get out. There's a lot that work. I had to tip my hat to them. They continue to go to work, and they work in a factory setting. One of the places is Bosma Enterprises, and those individuals there, they work doing a lot of work with the federal government. So a lot of the gloves and things of that nature goes out, and they work every day. And and I know the fear factor that they deal with, but they continue to work and they continue to wear their mask and try to stay healthy.
Yeah, we appreciate that information. One of the many things that for us, when I say us, I mean community action, that's come from doing this show is we have been able to act upon requests, special requests that we get as a result of doing the show, and helping out, whether it's a food drive, extra food drive. We're now distributing as we receive them, the COVID-19 tests. We're working with the immigrant populations and providing translators to pass on information, et cetera, et cetera. Under that vein, we'll also ask you what is needed. What is the help, not necessarily just from CAGI, but what kind of assistance or awareness is needed that you are seeing personally and professionally that there's shortfalls? Is there anything that you could put a call out now that we can help with, that we can act on? Because we are community action.
Okay, I'll tell you, one of the things that we're really working on from a national level with the National Federation of the Blind, and that is basically as we deal with this COVID, as they come out with these, the testing, one of the things with the testing is that we don't have full access to that because we can't read the test, the instructions. And the tests aren't made so that we can read the results of the test, so we have to ask individuals to assist us. And that is a big problem that this country is facing when it comes down to access for individuals and have equitable access to these products. Because once we get the test done and we get it in the mail, we look at it, fill it out, we can't read it. We have devices that do help us read some things, but a lot of individuals don't have those devices, and oftentimes that's very expensive for us. We have a 69% unemployment rate within the blind and disabled community, and that leads to low income and low wages on jobs. And some of the things that we're really working on right now is the Medical Non-Visual Accessibility Act that we have in front of Congress. And we're hoping that our congressmen throughout the state will continue to support us in some of our initiatives, and they are a lot.
Excellent. We've heard part of this before. One of the referral sources that we've been using is a CDC Disability Information and Access Line, DIAL, DAAL, the Disability Information and Access Line, and that number is 1-888-677-1199. And that line is open from 9 to 8. And they also have a telephone line, a text telephone line at 1-800-877-8339. And what we'll do is, I'm sure we'll get both of those numbers on the screen, and if anybody needs them. And Lee, we're going to stay in contact. Really appreciate you coming on the show. And we're probably going to, we have a bunch more information to share, and I know you do too. We're going to have you back. You have some closing remarks that you want to make?
Yes, I do. And thank you once again for allowing me this opportunity. I will leave my number as well for those that are interested in anything that we do with blindness and within our community. My phone number is 317-709-7747. And you can reach me at that number anytime between 9 a.m. and 4 p.m. And I just want to say that we are a group of advocates. We work hard within our community. And trust me, as we speak today, there's someone that is losing their sight today. And they're having sight issues, and they're having a hard time accepting it. The transition can be very traumatizing, but we are here for you. And I just want to say again, thank you, Brother Al, for allowing me to share this time with you. I look forward to future collaborations.
Outstanding, Lee. Thank you for coming on and passing along that information, and God bless you and your family for your losses. Our sincerest condolences, not only for you and your family, but for all the losses that we have incurred in because of COVID-19. We're going to push along and do what we can to help our right now, our Central Indiana community. Having said that, we'd like to thank everybody for tuning in today, and we will see you again next week with more pertinent information on wellness, on continuing wellness, and COVID-19 relief.
During the COVID-19 emergency, community action agencies are open and here to ensure the well-being of families across the country. For over 50 years, we've been delivering life-changing services, solutions, and stability.
Serving Boone, Hamilton, Hendricks, and Marion counties, be sure to visit our website to learn about employment and education opportunities, food, housing, transportation assistance, and more. Apply today by calling 317-396-1800.